Coming to you from Lowell Park, the road trip continues for the Commodores here against Falmouth's West Division rival, the Cotuit Kettleers, the very top of the Cape League this season, with Falmouth trying to get back in the win column. Joining you from Lowell Park, Matt Venezia, Zach Sterdenick, Destiny Sanchez, and others here helping us out with the broadcast. Falmouth trying to find a way tonight. A ton of different players, Zach, that are going to be in this lineup that we'll talk about in just a second, but you had to like the effort against Bourne yesterday and battling back after an ugly number put up early by the Braves. You hope that momentum can roll into this one against Cotuit.
Yeah, just another tough spot and unable to get that last break at the end, but gave yourself a chance again. You brought the winning run to the plate. You gave yourself a shot, just couldn't do anything with it.
Just had a great ceremony done there, the Star-Spangled Banner and a first pitch. We'll let you know the starting lineup for a second for the Commodores. Here's how the doors will be lining up. In the leadoff spot, Travis Bazzana coming in from Oregon State, one of the very, very best out of the Pac-12. He'll be at the top of the order, designated hitting. John Spikerman out of Oklahoma, the center fielder in the 2 spot. Kyle DeBarge back at shortstop. He's batting third. Kevin Bazell, 4 plate appearances yesterday, 4 trips on base. He's down there in the cleanup spot at third base. Walker Yannick, 2 straight games with him behind the plate. He had 2 hits yesterday and looked really, really good in his at-bats. Gavin Turley, another one of those Beavers, entering the lineup for the first time today. He's in left field in the 6th spot. Cade Snell, first baseman. No Charlie Condon anymore. It'll be Snell coming in. He's getting ready to transfer over to Alabama. Christian Martin out of Virginia Tech, the second baseman, down in the 8th spot. And caboosing it, Tab Tracy out in right field.
I'm really excited to see those Oregon State guys get here. Travis Bazzana, second-team All-American this season for the Beavers, and Gavin Turley has every tool you could ask for. The guy's got pop. He's got the hit tool with the contact. He's got speed. He can play defense. He can play any of the 3 outfield positions he's in left today. This guy's going to be somebody you want to watch for, not just today, but going forward towards that 2025 draft when he's eligible again. Keep an eye on him.
Yeah, these Beavers participated in the Baton Rouge Regional, and Turley earning all-team honors during that tournament run for Oregon State. And then since being eliminated out of there, they took some time to get those Beavers here to the Cape League, but here they are. And they have the duties of going up against a right-hander for Cotuit.
Yeah, Jake Gigliotti out of Northeastern. 3-pitch mix, sinker, slider, changeup for the Huskies this season, and did a good job for Northeastern. Their best relief arm out of the pen. He had an 8-0 record this spring for the Huskies. Looking to continue that. Had a rough last outing in his school ball back for the Huskies in the regional against Maryland. They were down in Winston-Salem. He gave up 3 runs, got hit around a little bit, but his first outing here on the Cape was back more to his normal. Had himself a really good start, put in good stuff. Didn't get the decision in that game, but it was a Cotuit win. Gave up no runs, and he's back at it again today.
Gigliotti, a CAA All-Tournament team member this past year. And during the regular season, a second-team member. So very, very good over there with Northeastern. Another one of those Huskies that we've seen kind of scattered throughout the Cape. But even those mid-majors find guys that can produce in the big stage of the Cape League. And with all that said, we are ready to begin baseball here at Lowell Park. A lot of people say the biggest rivalry of teams on the Cape, Falmouth and Cotuit. And the first date of 6 is about to be underway with a first pitch chopper to first. Going to be a backhand play done nicely by Galaney over there. And that's the first pitch at 4:59, 1 minute early and 1 away.
Yeah, sometimes we've seen the first pitch come a minute early in these games, but rarely the first out. We're already started.
Didn't really get a chance to even describe the bio of Bazzana there, as he just goes on the first pitch he sees, trying to pick up that intensity that I think he likes to play with in the leadoff spot.
He does. That was a good swing. 1 hopper on that backhand, but it was hit pretty hard.
Breaking ball in here, drops in the zone to the left-handed bat of John Spikerman, a switch hitter out of Oklahoma. He's now been a regular for the Commodores out in center field. Out of the full wind and the pitch on the way. It's the same pitch, cut on and missed, this time on the outer half, though, and Gigliotti's got him where he wants him. Spikerman yesterday, 1 for 4, earned himself a base hit in the 7th, walked in the 9th inning, and came around to score in what was a 6-5 loss for Falmouth on the road at Bourne. Fastball up and away by Gigliotti. First ball in the count picked up for Spikerman.
He's trying to battle back. He's worked some really good ABs from both sides. Seen a lot more time from the left side, though.
Full wind again. It's that same breaking ball, and it's rolled on the ground to second. A tough play for Pitre over there at first base, and a nice run there by Spikerman, but he's out by a step.
Yeah, Pitre has time at second, it not being as long of a throw. Spikerman can fly, and he knew that. Came charged hard, and a nice sidearm throw to get him.
Couple of ground balls here by the Commodores, which brings in the new three-man in the lineup, Kyle DeBarge. He's been pretty regularly in the 2 spot, given that Charlie Condon, from opening day on up until yesterday, was in the 3 spot every single game for Falmouth. Change up here from Gigliotti, low and away for a ball. DeBarge, a base hit and 5 tries for him yesterday, earned an RBI as well. Goes up the ladder here and fouls this one over our heads here at Lowell Park. Our first time being here, Zach and Destiny, checking it out, and they call it the Cape League's Field of Dreams. Pitch here, it's a ground ball, eats up the second baseman, Pitre, and with all that speed, DeBarge is going to be on second. We'll see what they rule that one. It took a pretty nasty hop from the cut of the grass.
Yeah, and it was hit hard. It bounced off the mound. I think they're going to give him a hit there.
And it looks like they have done that, so Kyle DeBarge earns a base knock, as we mentioned, had one yesterday, and he's standing on first with 1 away, or excuse me, 2. And now Kevin Bazell will step in. 4 tries yesterday, reached on all 4 of them. A pair of walks and 2 base knocks. Bazell out of Texas Tech. He's become a regular here over in the last couple of games, now hitting in the cleanup spot for Falmouth. Fouls one off here towards the dugout of the Doors. On the first pitch he sees, it's 0-1.
Working some really good at-bats over the last couple of days. Found himself on base 4 times yesterday. Trying to keep that going and keep the train moving with 2 outs to another bat that was pretty hot yesterday in Walker Yannick.
Coming set now out of the stretch is Gigliotti, keeping tabs on DeBarge. He goes on this one. This one's line to the shortstop, and he'll dive to make the play. Maybe didn't need to, but Harrison will stop that one, and that does it for the inning. Just a 2-out hit there right before the end of the first inning, but the Doors go relatively quietly. When we come back, it'll be Logan Van Treek taking the hill for the Doors, trying to keep this thing scoreless. And we'll be right back here on the Commodores Radio Network. So it's Logan Van Treek taking the mound for the Commodores. His first start of the season, and with more on him, we'll go to Destiny Sanchez.
Thanks, Mac. Logan Van Treek out of Lipscomb has pitched 2 games for the Commodores so far, both against YD. His last appearance was on Sunday. He pitched 4 innings, ending with a 1.58 ERA, and this will be the first start of the season, where at Lipscomb this past season he started 10 out of the 17 appearances he had.
Thank you, Destiny. Yeah, we talked about it earlier when he first got here, Zach. Friday night guy at Lipscomb, was seeing a lot of time with Austin Kelly, who was here a very short-lived amount of time in the Cape League with Falmouth. He's now been in Hyannis the last couple of days, but Van Treek has the stuff.
He does, and he's been able to put successful ABs together from the mound and work through these guys, get some innings, eat up some innings for this Doors team out of the bullpen, now getting stuff done here as a starter. And we talked earlier in opening the door about this first out and how important it's going to be.
Second in the A-Sun in wins, right up there at second in strikeouts. Struck out 108 batters in just over 88 innings down there with Lipscomb this past year. So we'll see what he's able to do here for the Commodores. As you mentioned, his first start was used in a lot of the middle relief stuff up to this point in the year. So, you know, we know he has length, and I think that's what you're looking here for against a pretty good lineup in Cotuit. Brett Bateman out of Minnesota will lead it off. He leads all of the Cape League in batting average, better than a coin flip at north of 500 on the average. T.O. Banks right behind him. He'll be in left. Caleb Lomavita behind the plate. Galaney we saw make a put out at first. And this one's in there for a strike. We'll go down through the rest of the order in just a second, but the first pitch to Bateman is taken for a strike on the inner half. Van Treek working simply and only out of the stretch here. He lifts his leg and fires with that left hand. It's a fastball inside, missing for a ball.
He's got a funky delivery from that left side. Can be really tough for left-handers to pick up. And so the advantage should go to him here against Bateman, but a good amount of righties in this order for Cotuit as well.
Van Treek comes set, looking down and now up at Yannick behind the plate. Fires a breaking ball up and away in there for a strike. It's that slider that catches his own for the second strike of the at-bat.
And he'll use all four of his pitches, fastball, slider, curveball, change for Van Treek. Those breaking balls really play well off each other.
Bateman, an all Big Ten second team member this year, won the Paul Molitor batting champion award they give out there at Minnesota. Spent a lot of time in the leadoff role there for the Golden Gophers. And for obvious reason, a 354 hitter. But again, as we mentioned on the Cape here, he has just been out of this world to begin, and part of the reason why Cotuit's at 8-3. The 2-2 from Van Treek, swing and a miss. Van Treek starts the outing the right way with a swinging strikeout, one away.
Something that he did a ton at Lipscomb. Over 100 strikeouts this season, just 14 walks.
I mean, that's the ratio you're looking for out of a guy who's able to handle a role like being the Friday night guy. And with one away, T.O. Banks will step in. Fastball low and away from Van Treek as he's right back to work. It's left down there.
Talk about limiting base runners. Top 10 in the country in whip, 6th in the country in strikeout to walk ratio. He's been locked in.
Banks finishing up his sophomore campaign as Tulane as he's going to slice this one foul out of the right-handed batter's box. A 301 hitter down there in Tulane. Slug 607. Drove in 51 runs along with that one as well.
Tulane had that Cinderella run in the American tournament to make a regional after coming in to the NCAA tournament at 19-40.
Yeah, a lot of people are questioning how this tournament's been decided and who gets in. As this one's put up on the infield, it looked like a fastball there. Christian Martin's got a play on it on the right side of the infield. He'll make the play. Just like that for Van Treek, too quickly retired.
That's what you like to see. Soft contact in play. Keep the pitch count down and continue to mow through the top of this order.
So now Loma Vita will step in. Fourth on the team in average to this point in the year at 313 for the Kettleers. As he tries to get something going here. First pitch swinging, another slicer foul. They mentioned him out of the Pac-12 at Cal Berkeley. And this catcher's room very, very loaded here in Cotuit so far. Cannon Peebles, very, very capable. He's out in the field today. Or check that rather, he's DHing, so he's still in the lineup. As now we'll see the bat boy and the ball boy help out the home plate umpire tonight. Mark Chamberlain gives us a chance to tell you the rest of the way around. Anthony Letizio over at first and Robert McHugh down at the hot corner. As this one's chopped on the ground, backhand stop by DeBarge. Long throw across the diamond, and both pitchers work relatively quickly, but this time it's 1-2-3 for Van Treek. No hits, no runs, no nothing for Cotuit at the end of that first inning. Pitchers going head-to-head here as we go to the second inning here on the Commodores Radio Network. Falmouth bats coming up here. It'll be 5, 6, 7 with Walker Yannick leading it off. We talked about what he did yesterday. The 2-run double. Could have had an RBI single, but Kevin Bazell was thrown out as he was rounding third base and was thrown out relatively quickly by Sam Peterson out there and left. He made that throw look very easy in the slushy conditions we had yesterday around the Cape, but specifically for us in Bourne yesterday.
Yeah, and Braves catcher Caden Bodine was talking after the game, and he said that he wasn't sure whether it was going to skid or hop or what, but he got lucky that it bounced right to him.
So now you have Walker Yannick. He's been pretty remotely in the 5 spot for the Commodores since coming in after his collegiate season at Sam Houston State wrapped up, him and Joe Redfield getting here at the same time. Redfield not in the lineup tonight for the Commodores, but we saw him yesterday. Slider here misses away, evening the count at 1 from Jake Ligliotti, who is out there for his second inning of work. Out of the full wind here, delivers the pitch. Looked like a diving fastball that just stayed down low and away. 2-1, a hitter's count here for Yannick.
He's seeing the ball really well recently, and you want to keep that going.
The 2-1 slider stays low and out. Yannick, the 2 hits yesterday. He's got 4 on the Cape season, half of them coming in that effort against Bourne. So we're telling you, he's starting to figure it out. A lot of these guys coming in late are starting to get accustomed. The 3-1 looked like an up and in sinking fastball under the hands, but it stays up and in. So it's a leadoff walk for the Doors and a base runner as Yannick moves on. And then this is Gavin Turley now. He'll step in for the first time this season.
And I was talking to the hitting coach, Brett Becker, for the Commodores a few days ago about those guys in that slower start. And that's exactly what he was telling me. It takes some time to get these guys used to that wooden bat and comfortable again after a couple of weeks off from their seasons.
So this is Turley stepping in now. We talked about him being a all-tournament team member in that Baton Rouge Regional. Perfect Game second team All-American this year over there in the Pac-12 up north at Oregon State. Making his way here with his buddy Travis, excuse me. The 1-0 count here as Gigliotti comes set on the mound. Fires from the stretch. The breaking ball spoiled and slicing foul into the wooded area here surrounding Lowell Park.
Turley was putting on a show in batting practice. He has a lot of juice in that bat.
Sporting number 1 in the black jerseys, the traditional road jerseys for the Commodores with the gray pants. Fastball up, cut on, and sent straight back. Turley talking to himself after that one. Really thought he should have gotten that one. He'll take a long circle walk around the home plate area. Now he'll adjust himself, staring at his bat here and getting set in the box. Behind in the count, 1-2. Nobody out here. That leadoff walk from Walker Yannick is where he stands now at first base. Gigliotti, a pause there as he's set on the rubber. Now lifts the leg and goes. It's that slider diving out of the zone, 2-2.
It was a slower start to the season for Turley than I think he was hoping, but he got hot late and got that average up above 300 on the season, and as you mentioned, was outstanding in that regional in Baton Rouge.
Gigliotti fires the 2-2. It's a diving slider again, missing. Full count now. So the Doors trying to work some good at-bats here and keep the free passes moving along potentially. And Yannick was extending his lead there a little bit, trying to maybe get in the head of Gigliotti, who now looks back over at him, and then we'll get set on the mound. The 3-2 pitch to Turley. Crack of the bat. This one's popped up on the infield, just in shallow right. Pitre will make the play. No room for Yannick to even think about moving. He'll go right back to first with one away.
Not the result you were hoping for there if you're Turley, but it's a good at-bat. You're getting back into seeing live pitching again after a couple of weeks and allowing yourself to reset and see some more pitches.
So it's the new first baseman in the Falmouth lineup, Wallace Community College, his very own Cade Snell. We talked about him getting ready to play at Alabama into this upcoming year. Put up some good numbers, though, as he now steps in, an all-purpose player, can play in a lot of different spots all over the infield.
Again, he can play first base, he can play corner outfield as well, and he can also pitch. They're shifting him a little bit to pull. I think they're going to learn quickly that part of Cade Snell's game is his ability to go the other way. He loves going that way.
Giuliani set, fires. Yannick is going. The 0-1 throwdown on the way. The throw's a little behind, and Yannick slides in there safely.
Really nice job to slide around that tag from Walker Yannick. We actually have a pretty good angle of that second base spot and able to just open up that swim move type look, get to the outside part of the bag and swipe it.
And that is the backstop, by the way, who's earned the stolen base. He stole 10 of those this year at Sam Houston State, so not entirely out of the question to see Walker Yannick get the game moving in motion. The 1-1 looked like a slider dropping right back over the middle of the zone, and Giuliani gets ahead 1-2.
Now you mentioned Yannick's speed, but there's some good arms in this outfield, so a base hit to the outfield may score Yannick if he gets a good jump, but with one away, it might not, depending on where it's at.
The pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Gave him that upstairs slider again on the outer half. It's cut on and missed. That's the second out of the inning, and the first strikeout of the day for Jake Gigliotti on the mound.
Big spot now for Christian Martin. This is a part of the order that the Doors are going to try and take advantage against the righty on the rubber with 3 lefties, 7, 8, 9, and then another one in Bazana leading it off, and then the switch hitter after that. So 5 straight left-handed looks against Gigliotti.
The first pitch to Martin is that front door slider, and he lets it stay there for a ball inside. Martin's been here since the beginning of the season, the opening day second baseman for the Doors. That's where he is today. Gigliotti looked back to Yannick on second base. The pitch on the way. This one's driven over the middle. That'll be a leaping grab and a tremendous play by Harrison, who just robbed Christian Martin of an RBI knock and a chance for the Doors to be in the lead.
What a play. Showing off the bunnies at short. I thought there was no chance he was getting to that baseball.
Calais Harrison leaping out of his cleats to grab that one. And it allowed an emphatic end of the second. Falmouth works a base runner. Probably should have had its second hit of the game, but we will have to wait a little bit longer. It is still 0-0 as we go to the bottom of the second here on the Commodores Radio Network. What a play to end that inning, and Van Treek will come back out. But before we get into the action, Destiny Sanchez has a report.
Thanks, Matt. Cape Cod Healthcare is proud to be the official healthcare sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. And with 6 convenient urgent care centers across Cape Cod from Falmouth to Orleans, we're ready to treat a wide variety of minor illnesses and injuries so you can get back to your regularly scheduled summer plans quickly. Open daily with no appointment needed and staffed by board-certified ER providers. View wait times at capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care. Minor emergencies, major attention.
Thank you for that, Destiny. And just a tremendous play. Calais Harrison leaping, needing every bit of his vertical reach to rob Christian Martin not only of a hit, but an RBI right there. And for a guy like Martin, who's been in and out of the lineup with players coming in and out, didn't play yesterday, steps into the lineup and really pieces one. Left-handed batters tell you, Zach, they're locked in when they're hitting the ball the other way over the shortstop's head. I mean, that's exactly what you're looking for there in the box.
Yeah, it was a really good swing, but just a better defensive play.
So the first pitch here to Galaney, the first baseman, already has had some action here tonight, as he was able to make the first play of the day. Was a ground ball there from Bazana that he had to make on the backhand. Entering his senior season out of Wofford, as this fastball from Van Treek stays up and away for a ball. 2-0 here. A .383 hitter this year at Wofford. 17 bombs and 66 driven in. Very understandable why he's in the cleanup spot today for the Kettleers. The 2-0. This one driven to pretty deep left field. Backing up is Turley. Still back at the wall. It's gone. Just like that, Ryan Galaney talks about why he's able to put one over the wall. It's a solo shot, and the Kettleers are on the board first.
Wind blowing out here, and talk about one that was hit really well, but still was a wall scraper. This place is deep. That hit off of the top of the fence and went over.
Ryan Galaney didn't take long. He saw the first pitch and did damage on his pull side. And just like that, emphatically, right when the Commodores were looking to have the lead, this game has an equalizer. This one here, the left-handed batter in the box now, Jay Harry, sends it slicing foul.
And that's where for Vantrick you can't fall behind hitters. Because when you fall behind, then you have to throw a fastball like that to Galaney that puts it on a tee.
On the ground to Harry to the shortstop. DeBarge on the run makes a good throw, and that's a good first out after the damage. The Penn State Nittany Lion grounds out to begin this second inning.
Yeah, nifty little pick there from DeBarge on the short hop. He was charging in right away, knew that he had a speedy runner in the box, and had to go, and did a nice job to make that play.
That's the first home run of the year for Galaney, despite all those offensive numbers at Wofford this year. A sub 100 hitter, actually, in the box right now. But, I mean, again, it's about finding ways to break through and getting the adjustments that we've talked to our Falmouth players about. And everyone's getting adjusted and playing games every single day. And for the most part, kind of being in and out of the lineup, given how the lineup rotates every now and again. But now it's Peebles in the box, the designated hitter tonight. Nice slider there by Van Treek, right back to work, 1-1. Coming set on the rubber, Van Treek. Slight knee bend, lifts it and fires. It's a slider low and in. A good take there in the right-handed batter's box by Cannon Peebles.
Cotuit has not been the best offensive team out here, but it's been the pitching, and so you can't allow yourself to fall any further behind if you're Falmouth.
A really healthy hack there, coming up empty on the fastball. It's 2-2. Van Treek trying to pick up his second strikeout of the afternoon. Struck out Brett Bateman to lead off the ball game, the toughest hitter in this lineup. 2-2. This one a slider, kind of flailing at it. It's a routine pop fly and caught by Kevin Bazell on the infield grass at third. And there's 2 away.
We mentioned it a little bit ago on some of the past broadcasts, but the best home run you can give up is the leadoff home run, because you can basically go about the rest of the inning like nothing happened. It's a solo shot always, and the bases are clear. You're right back at it, and you can settle yourself down. Van Treek doing just that.
And really, they tell you solo shots won't beat you. But with a pitching staff that Cotuit has, with leading the league in ERA at under 2.8, as you were talking to us earlier about, Zach, you know, you can kind of work with not needing all that many runs to still, you know, get you into ball games if you pick up a run or two on some solo shots.
You can, but Falmouth, one of the better teams at finding ways to stay in games and manufacturing runs. We'll see if they can do that here against the Kettleers.
Emilian Petre comes up empty. This at bat just flew right by during that commentary. 3 strikes to get the strikeout, but not before a leadoff bomb from Ryan Galaney. Gives the Kettleers a 1-0 lead. 1 hit in the inning for Cotuit. It was that solo shot, and it's 1-0 for the home team as we go to the third here on the Commodores Radio Network. Tab Tracy will lead it off for the Commodores now, with Falmouth trailing 1-0 as we get ready for this top of the third inning. 5 o'clock start here at Lowell Park. No lights here at the home of the Cotuit Kettleers, so you got to start an hour earlier than what we're typically used to. And then tomorrow at the road at Chatham, those games always start at 7 p.m. So with the lights over there at Veterans Field, you can play those late night games into the beautiful sky that they have over there in Chatham. First pitch swinging is Tracy. It's going to be a routine 3-1, although Tracy by about a step or two just barely was out there, and the 3-1's recorded for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, Gigliotti just a step slow getting off the mound, but able to get over there in time to still get Tracy.
Galaney has the home run and already a couple of workouts there at first base on the backhand. The first one a lot easier from Bazana, who's now back into the box. It was a 3 unassisted to lead off the ball game for number 7 in the black jersey of Falmouth. The first pitch, a slider into the left-handed batter for a strike.
Not a bad idea to take a pitch here after starting out so hot in at-bat 1.
Trying to pick the inside part of the zone, low and in, and it's a changeup that stays low. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 away. Back to the top of the order are the Doors. 1 hit to this point. It was DeBarge who had an infield hit. This one hits Bazana on the foot. Looked like it may have maybe caught him where he has that Evo Shield foot guard, or maybe just below that, but he looks to be okay jogging down to first.
Yeah, back foot slider there that caught him. Maybe got it a little too close to the back foot.
That is the third base runner of the day for Falmouth. And Walker Yannick on his walk was able to get to second on a stolen base, but that's as far as the Doors have had him. And that brings in John Spikerman, a ground out to the second baseman last time up. First pitch to Spikerman, chopped right to the second baseman. Petre's got to do a quick flip. 4-6. Too quick is Spikerman to get the 3. So it's a fielder's choice. They'll switch spots. Spikerman to first with now 2 away.
Yeah, those are 2 of the fastest guys out on the Cape this summer. You're never going to double those guys up.
It's a nice speed 1-2 punch at the top of the order for Falmouth, as now DeBarge will step in.
Yeah, Bazana stole 36 bags at Oregon State this season.
You could say that again. We saw him do that, at least I did, in Arizona State when the Sun Devils hosted the Beavers earlier this season. ASU took 2 of 3. One of the bigger series Phoenix Municipal Stadium's seen in quite some time. Quick pickoff move to Spikerman, who gets him back to first. Coming set, Gigliotti with a runner to contend in John Spikerman. He's been stealing a couple of bags here since being on the Cape. He starts, gets a little too far off the bag, and they nearly backpick him. Loma Vida came up ready to fire and kind of waited a second. I think he had to wait for Galaney to get back to the bag.
Yeah, and a smart job there by Spikerman to get back, knowing he didn't have the greatest jump, wasn't the pitch he wanted to run on, and so no need to risk trying to get thrown out at second base, just get back to the bag.
DeBarge the only hit in the lineup so far for Falmouth. Slider away to the righty in DeBarge, it stays there.
That's a really good take. That starts over the heart, maybe a little bit on the outer third, and just breaks off the edge of the plate ever so slightly.
Could be a hit and run spot here if Spikerman goes. He is going. DeBarge leaves it up there, the fastball up. The throw down gets away from the shortstop, Harrison. You have to think the hit and run was on in 2 strikes, but a nice take in the box by DeBarge, and now Spikerman stands on second. The Doors have stolen 2 bags here to begin now the 3rd inning of play.
Yeah, at the very least, the run was on. Now we'll see if DeBarge can come through with the hit, try and tie up this game.
Depending on how hard it's hit, should it get down, you'd like the speed in Spikerman. You'd like to think he could come around to tie the game. Comes down to DeBarge, though, in the box. Gigliotti a look to Spikerman, now lifts the leg and goes. It's a chopper down the third base line and just barely foul by a matter of inches. A diving effort by Harry, trying to keep that one in, but just barely goes foul.
Good battle here from DeBarge. He hit that ball really hard back up the middle. That kind of ate up Petre. They gave him the infield a hit. That ball was hit really hard. Now we'll see if DeBarge can find some outfield grass here.
Gigliotti comes set, ready to do the 2-2 with 2 gone. Deuce is wild with a runner on second. The pitch on the way. Fastball. Maybe actually that slider that just never really slid. It kind of just stayed floating up and in. And now the count is full. Good battles here working by the Commodores. Kevin Bazell waiting on deck should he get the opportunity here with 2 away in the 3rd. Gigliotti looking back to second. Now he fires on the way. It's that same slider up and in, and it's popped up just beyond the infield grass. Making the play again over there at second is Petre. A couple steps into right center, and the 2-out runner in scoring position effort by Spikerman is stranded. The Commodores leave him out there, still trailing by 1. We'll be right back here on the Commodores Baseball Network. Logan Van Treek ready to go here for a third inning of work. He's got 8-9-1 due up. Ryan Waldschmidt will greet him first, the right fielder today for Cotuit. In a lineup that has earned top spot in the Cape League, 8-3. You would think they should be 9-2 after seeing that score entering the bottom of the ninth inning yesterday against Hyannis, up 6-0. And Hyannis, the Harbor Hawks, came all the way back to score 6 in that bottom of the ninth, and then eventually walked off these Kettleers on the road at McKeon Park, 7-6.
It's so tough to come back in the top of the 10th inning in a game like that if you're Cotuit, where you felt like you were out of it.
Waldschmidt gets a hold of this one, backing up and left is Turley, still back at the wall. It's gone. Second solo shot for the Kettleers. And Waldschmidt leads off the third with a solo shot of his own. It's 2-0 Cotuit.
We talked about solo shots can't beat you. Well, they can if you give up enough of them.
Ryan Waldschmidt. That one had more air on it. You would have thought Turley could have a play on it, but that wind, as you mentioned, just lightly breezing out there to left center. Just enough of that tailwind will keep that ball up in the air and moving.
It was really quick hands, too. That ball was inside. It almost looked like it had jammed him a little bit, but was able to get the barrel to the baseball and send it out.
So Waldschmidt makes his name known. He hit 5 home runs this year at Kentucky. Picks up 1 here in the youth of this Cape season. And now in the 9th spot, Calais Harrison, the shortstop. We already told you what he did, robbing Christian Martin of an RBI knock. He swings and misses as a slider goes away from him, 1-1. Van Treek trying to stay focused here despite the 2 solo shots early on. The 1-1. Slider in the dirt. A nice block there behind the plate by Walker Yannick. Yannick, as we mentioned, second straight game behind the plate after we had seen a pretty consistent rotation of every other day switching off. But if you remember against Orleans, Ross Highfield got hit by a pitch, then fouled one off his finger, his thumb. And it was on the throwing hand, his right thumb. And he says he's okay with his hands, but still feels that 94-mile-an-hour fastball that he ate up there in that big win for Falmouth. 3-1 here on the outside. A fastball catches the zone in there for a strike. And Van Treek comes back to full up the count, 3-2. From the stretch, Van Treek, the pitch on the way, drops a slider in there for a strike 3 called. That's a third strikeout through the first part of the order for Van Treek, and a good first out picked up after the home run.
Same thing we talked about last inning. Have to settle yourself down after giving up a home run like that.
Outside of the 2 hits that have both been over the fence, Van Treek working quickly and picked up 3 strikeouts to the first 9 batters he sees. Now he flips it back to the top. Brett Bateman shows bunt, gets it down. Moving off the mound to his right is Van Treek. The underhand flip in time. Trying to pull off the drag bunt there was Brett Bateman. And he'll go down via the 1-3 putout, 2 away.
Good job by Van Treek to quickly hop off the mound, go get that one, and know who's running. He doesn't take his time with it. He gets it and flips it quickly to Snell.
Now T.O. Banks, as we mentioned, out of Tulane. Brief little playoff stint for Tulane once they, as you mentioned, made the tournament. And that can allow us to talk again about that conversation of, there are certainly some other teams that are left out of the at-large bids, but a team like Tulane, if you win your tournament, your conference tournament, you got a shot no matter what your record is. If you can get into that little mini dance you have, you got a shot.
And I think that's how it should be. I mean, you've got a chance. You give everyone a chance to play their way in. And that's exactly what Tulane did. Were they better than some of the teams that got left out? No, but those teams had their same chance to get in as well.
1-1. Fastball right down Broadway in there for a strike. And partner, certainly you wouldn't want to replicate the effort that Tulane did to try and hope to get into the tournament. You'd want to be like some of those teams that were left out at the at-large. And you got to give credit where it's due in Tulane that they showed up when it mattered there at the very, very end. This one fouled off here, 2-2.
They did, and you can't really compare them to teams across conferences that got left out, but you can compare them to teams that were able to have better years than them in their own conference, but not able to get in. Like I think a UCF team that was solid, but wasn't able to make the tournament, and Tulane did a better job in that conference tournament, pulled off the win.
Van Treek trying to get out of here with just that 1 run given up. Ground ball to Bazell at third. Long throw on the back end. It's got to be picked. Oh my goodness, getting ran over as the out's recorded. Snell had to back up and field that on the pick, and he was ran over by T.O. Banks, and everyone looks to be okay, and they'll call it an out.
Really nice job to hang on to the baseball there from Snell. Wasn't pretty, but it's a third out.
Maybe not how you draw it up, but a 5-3 put out there that doesn't show the hit stick we just saw there by Banks on Snell, but everyone again looks to be all right. A leadoff home run again by Cotuit has the Kettleers on top 2-0. We go to the fourth here from Lowell Park on the Commodores Radio Network. Ready for the top of the fourth inning. A pair of solo shots is what we've seen to this point. The Commodores just one hit, but they've gotten a base runner and stranded one in every single inning so far. You'd like to see that happen again, but then this time bring those guys in. And over the past couple of games, the Doors have done a good job of bringing in base runners. It'll be Kevin Bazell leading off. Fastball outer half in the zone for a strike. Bazell last time a line drive out to the shortstop, Harrison over there. Fastball upstairs part of the zone, left up there, 1-1.
Yeah, Bazell just continuing to try and find some barrels. See if he can get a ball in the gap, see if the Doors can try and cut into this deficit or even things here.
Gigliotti full wind, slider going out of the zone for a ball, 2-1 now. We mentioned it's been good to see Kevin Bazell work some more consistent at-bats here since coming in, as this is another one of those sliders. This one really out of the zone. Not really much of a tester there. It's 3-1.
You can come back with a fastball here if you're Gigliotti and try and get yourself, but you also could throw that changeup in.
3-1. That's a slider, and this time it gets the zone. He'd been trying to do that the previous two pitches, and that'll full up the count at 3-2. A shake of the head, and now a nod from Gigliotti. The pitch tried to do it again. This one's on the ground and foul towards the first base line.
That pitch may have been outside, but I don't hate it from Bazell. You don't want to leave anything close. Just dispatch of it like that and get back into the box.
And right there, he got a nod behind the plate from Mark Chamberlain saying that one, yes, it did catch the zone, so a good cut there. 3 balls and 2 strikes will do it again. That one's a slider, and it starts up and left up there. It's a leadoff base runner again, and already the third walk that Falmouth's earned today.
And the second leadoff walk here in this game against Gigliotti, a guy that didn't walk many guys at Northeastern, just 17 walks in that game. But the Doors have consistently been working deep in at-bats and finding themselves in those situations over the last few games.
Falmouth walked 6 times yesterday against Bourne. In the previous outing, 11 against Wareham. As this one here, a throw over to get Bazell back to first. And now already, the Doors have walked, I believe, 3 times as well. So they've just been working solid at bats and have already had a handful of base runners, just only with 1 hit so far. This one's chopped on the ground by Yannick Fowl along the third base line.
Yeah, you'd like to get some momentum back here, try and bring a run across in the fourth, especially after getting the leadoff base runner and a good part of the order coming up. See if you can even things or at least pull within a run.
Yannick certainly capable of that. The 2-run double yesterday, his biggest contribution to the offensive side of the game to this point since he's been here. The 0-1. This one popped foul, slicing over our heads here. Pretty good crowd here at Lowell Park. They have a grandstand feature set up here along both lines here. I mean, when you think of bleachers at a ballpark, they actually extend and have what looks to be about 10 or 15 rows filled with fans on both sides. Then 0-2 from Gigliotti to Yannick. Slider upstairs. He likes that slider at the top of the zones, but's missed on it a couple of times, just leaving it up there.
Yes, but that pitch you're not going to hit very hard because of where it's at. I mean, DeBarge popped it up. He's gotten a couple of those already.
1-2. Fastball upstairs, forcing Loma Vida to come out of the crouch, and it's left up there 2-2. So good eye here by Yannick. Remember, he walked back in the second to lead off the inning. Then he stole second base. Already 2 swipe bags for the Commodores. 2 balls, 2 strikes from Gigliotti. Working out of the stretch. It's that slider. Sends it down the right field line. A play on it for Waldschmidt. He'll make the play just inside the right field line. And that is an out. The first one for Falmouth here in the fourth.
That's what I was talking about with that slider. If he locates it like he has been, even though it's not necessarily a strike, if they do swing at it, that's the type of swing you're going to get on it.
Gavin Turley popped up on the infield to Pitre at second base. That was after Yannick reached on the walk.
Turley worked that count full, though. It was a good at-bat.
He definitely did, trying to, as there's a pickoff move back here to Bazell, trying to imitate working good. I mean, that's been the trend for Falmouth, even for the new guys stepping in for the first time. They have certainly picked up on maybe what they've seen at-bat to at-bat here against Gigliotti. The pitch. This one actually got a piece of Turley. Looked to be that sinker running in on the righties and may have just clipped him on the wrist area. And with one away, the Doors have 2 base runners despite not even having a hit here in the inning.
Yeah, pair of walks, pair of hit batters on the game already by Gigliotti. And now you're in a spot where it's a new guy. It's Cade Snell with a big chance here to try and keep the train moving with 2 on and 1 away.
This is a big spot here for Snell, as you mentioned. Getting his first looks here. We saw him take his first cuts. This one's on the ground. That's going to be a base hit in the left field. Hit too sharply, though. Bazell's got to stay at third. And the carousel moves a little bit more. The bases are fully loaded for Christian Martin with still 1 away.
That's probably a hit anyways, but we talked about it when he last came up. They're shifting him to pull. He will gladly go the other way, gets that pitch outside and puts it there. They asked him during BP why he was going the other way so much, and he just shrugged and said, that's where he's throwing it. I hit the ball where it's thrown, and that's exactly what he did.
Christian Martin came up in a big spot for an RBI in the first, now an even bigger one here in the top of the fourth inning. A base hit could certainly tie this ball game. Martin first pitch swinging, driven down the left field line. It's slicing away from the run of Banks. He'll run and make the play in foul territory. That will allow Bazell to tag, and he will score. So it'll work. It was a pretty deep fly ball there in foul territory, and Bazell didn't have to be the fastest guy in the world to come all the way in from third. And the Doors are on the board for the first time. It's 2-1.
Yeah, and the ball is tailing away off the bat of Christian Martin from the left fielder Banks. So he has to run and is going to have to stop and throw across his body to the plate. He does that. It's a strong throw, but not going to be able to get a runner on that.
Turley remains at second, and the first base hit by Snell keeps him still at first. No one else could advance. And that brings in Tab Tracy. Out of Texas A&M, Tracy's been a staple in the outfield for the Doors here. Came a couple days after the regular season had started. He spent time in center field and right as left field as well. He's been very versatile out there for Jeff Trundy and the Falmouth Commodores. The 0-1 from Gigliotti. This one's driven out to really deep right field. Back at the wall is Waldschmidt, still back, and he'll make the play leaning up against the wall. Right off the bat, it looked great from Tab Tracy, and that ball barely stayed in. Out to deep right field, but not before the Commodores get one back. With the help of Christian Martin, it's 2-1 Cotuit, going to the bottom of the fourth inning here on the Commodores Radio Network. 3-4-5 due up for Cotuit. With the Commodores responding, cutting the deficit in half. 2 hits aside to this point, but both the Kettleer knocks have gone over the wall. That brings in Caleb Lomavita, a ground ball out to Kyle DeBarge, his first time up. A big bender there from the left-handed arm of Logan Van Treek to start us off here in the 4th for a strike. Ryan Galaney awaits on deck, had the solo shot to lead off the 2nd, the first run of the ball game. This one way out in front of the slider there was Lomavita pulling it foul, and it's 0-2 quickly.
We talked about the first out of the first inning with Brett Bateman being important, but the first out of all of these innings have been tough for Van Treek. A couple of leadoff homers for Cotuit.
The 0-2, a fastball that runs away from the right-handed batter, Caleb Lomavita. Yeah, you talk about that. The strikeout swinging from Bateman is the only time that the first man up in the order for Cotuit has been retired to begin an inning. A ball and 2 strikes. Pitch on the way. This one's given a ride out to deep left center. On his horse and still back at the wall, and it's gone again. Another one to lead off an inning. It's Caleb Lomavita, the 3rd solo shot given up by Van Treek. And it's 3-1 Cotuit.
First out of the inning is the toughest right now for the Doors. Hits that one out. No one besides the first man of the last 3 innings has reached for Cotuit. So Van Treek's been able to settle himself down, but man, that hurts.
To put into perspective, the most amount of home runs Falmouth's given up in a game has been 1. We've seen 3. But again, with no base runners on when they've happened, if you would have said that you'd give up 3 home runs at this point of the game and only be down by 2 runs, I don't know if I would have believed you.
Yeah, just good job from Van Treek. Again, bouncing back and just continuing to settle himself in.
Not nearly out of the woods at all. Ryan Galaney steps in, and he started the party here with the long balls for Cotuit to lead off the 2nd inning. He hit 5 this year. Picks up 1 right there. His first home run of the year and his last time up. The 0-1. Fastball up and in. Evens the count at 1. Just quite an interesting start to this ball game for the Kettleers. 8-3, the very top of the Cape League, and more importantly for Falmouth, the West Division. The 1-1. Swing and a miss on the slider. A nice pitch there from Van Treek. Falmouth looking up at everybody right now. 3-6-2 to this point in the year. Only 2 games decided by more than a run for Falmouth through the team's first 11 outings. And the way this one's trending, you'd like to think that number could still continue to increase in those close ball games. 1 and 2 spiked in the dirt, evening the count at 2.
Just got to keep the ball down here and get through it. Try and get your bats back to the plate. You've had chances. Already strand 4 on the base pass, 3 of those in scoring position. So you've got shots. Just got to keep bringing them around.
Van Treek trying to find a way to get the first out against the heart of the order here. The 2-2. Big bender there, and it's fouled pretty much right back at us. I don't know how many more times you could try to offer that upstairs slider that just hangs the way it does. He doesn't throw it all that hard when he throws that breaking ball, but right into the swing path of these powerful right-handed bats. We'll see what the next offering is from Van Treek. He shakes off Yannick on the first try, now nods on the second pitch. Yannick sets up on the outside, the pitch, fastball up, good frame job, but not getting the call from Chamberlain behind the plate. It's 3-2. Trying to find that first out of the inning. It's been tough for Logan. 3 consecutive leadoff home runs for Cotuit, dating back to the 2nd inning of play. The payoff, this one just barely fouled off. Delaney sends it straight on back here, and Ryan Galaney will get another chance at it, working a really good at-bat here.
Just continuing to battle, but Van Treek's got to continue to throw strikes and hope that his defense can make a play behind him as long as he can keep it in the yard.
The Kettleers rocking the Cape Cod red jerseys. The home teams wear them on Friday nights. A 3-2. This one's driven foul. Sliced into the netting here just above the Commodores' dugout.
Yeah, Galaney was not expecting the fastball there. Was way late on it, but got a piece of it and stayed alive.
Mark Chamberlain had to ask for some new baseballs. He's got him now in his umpire pockets, attached to his belt here. The 3-2 pitch once again. Good frame effort. The slider low over the middle, stays low, and it's a walk. And after the leadoff home run, Galaney works a walk.
And this is where you have to take a deep breath and battle back because you don't want this inning to continue to unravel here if you're Van Treek.
No activity in the Falmouth bullpen. You wouldn't expect that given that the 3 home runs have all been solo shots, and the only 3 hits Van Treek has surrendered so far. Now Jay Harry will step in. First pitch going is Galaney. The hit and run is executed perfectly. This one's into the gap in right center. Cutting it off is Spikerman. That's going to allow Galaney to go first to third. Nice job by Van Treek to back up the throw in from towards Martin. It actually got away from him, and Logan able to round it and recover it. They're on the corners with still nobody out.
Really nice job with the hit and run. Cotuit steals more than almost anybody in the league. And they were on the move right away, and a good rip there from Harry into that right center field gap. Spikerman got to it quickly, which is good because if he doesn't cover that much ground that quick, that run's probably coming around to score.
Now they're on the corner, still nobody out. Big chance here for Cotuit and a huge spot in this game defensively for the Commodores. First pitch in there for a strike. It's that slider once again. Really good year out of NC State for the freshman Cannon Peebles. Change-up, good pitch in there for a strike, outer half. Peebles will step out and rethink it here.
Yeah,
Drove in 50 runs in his rookie year for the Wolfpack.
He had a good season. He did not like that call, though. He thought that was a little low, and it looked pretty similar to the pitch that Galaney walked on.
The corners are in on the grass. Middle infield pinching the bag at second for the double play ball. Late decision to swing and miss, and that one foul tipped. I think the at-bat will continue and may have caught a finger of Walker Yannick. He was wincing right away here.
Yeah, that doesn't feel great.
You know, in my days of catching, I'd always put my throwing hand behind my back, and I know that's more maybe elementary in the game of, you know, being behind the plate, and a lot of guys now try to keep the ball in front of them will have their throwing hand kind of ready sort of by their side, not necessarily behind their back, but that's the scare, though, if you decide to not have the ball behind your back. The 0-2. This one driven on a line. That's a base hit. The 4th run of the ball game for Cotuit will come on in. Everyone moves up 90 feet. The base hit RBI knock for Peebles makes it 4-1 for the Kettleers.
A lot of barrels right now. Van Treek is either missing bats completely and picking up a few strikeouts, or the Kettleers are catching barrels.
This is the first inning we've really seen the carousel move around. After those leadoff knocks, Van Treek has done a job and gotten the next 3 consecutively over the previous 2 opportunities. But now there's a conversation in on the infield. Mike Landry not out there joining them. It's just all the infield chatting right now, trying to figure out the game plan here. The Kettleers have had 4 consecutive men reach.
Just trying to settle things down and 2 outs quickly and see what you can do from there.
Cannon Peebles there on a rope to left field. Picks up his 4th RBI on the year with that knock. Only hitting 176 here on the Cape.
Limiting the damage so important because of how good this Cotuit pitching staff is. The Doors have worked good at bats. Just have to continue to shut this down. You scored 1, now you gave up 2, and that's not helping you out. So you got to put some zeros on the board and follow it with some runs in the top half.
Protecting against the bunt towards the third base line. Bazell is in on the grass. A shift to the right side of the infield with the left-handed box. They do show the bunt and pull it back. That one's in there for a strike, though, as Petre at least was showing it for the time being. We'll see if he actually decides to lay it down.
Petre has good speed. I'm a little surprised if they do lay it down here with how well the Kettleers have been swinging the bat this inning.
From the wind, they do lay the bunt. Missing it, though, is Petre. He didn't pull it back. That one was not a strike. It's 0-2.
Yeah, he tried to get it down. That pitch actually isn't a terrible pitch if you're trying to bunt it down the third base line because you can push it that way since it's already moving that way from the left-handed pitcher, but just couldn't get his bat on it.
Need to find a way for the first strike. The 0-2, no bunt being shown. This one on the ground. Martin will make a tough play. 4-6 at least. And it kind of pulled DeBarge off the bag. They're going to say he did not get his foot on the bag. And the bases are going to be loaded. You would have to think it's a tough play from Martin. But because he had the chance, Zach, to go for the easy put out on the fielder's choice to first, his decision to go to second might be ruled in error to Christian Martin.
It may be. We'll have to see, but that's tough and very much less than ideal. It's the 3rd straight base runner to reach on a 2-strike count with Van Treek ahead in the count, that time 0-2.
So now Kalai Harrison will step in. First pitch at 76 on the gun from Van Treek in there for a strike. and they are still waiting to see the update they're going to give us here on Point Streak. We'll let you know what they rule that on Martin. Breaking ball. This one actually hits the batter, Pitre, and everyone will move up 90 feet, and that will bring in a run. Check that, excuse me. That was Walshman actually in the box. He got hit by the breaking ball. Gets credited with the RBI, and it's now 5-1.
Inning just unraveling here for the Doors and digging themselves a deep hole that's going to be really tough to get out of.
So now stepping in, Kalai Harrison now.
They did not rule the error. They ruled it a fielder's choice, electing to go to second base and not getting an out.
Slider away here to Harrison. Struck out looking last time. But that's interesting.
Actually, now it looks like they have changed it to add the error. Fielder's choice and an error.
So the error to Christian Martin. And that's what it shows on the big board here at Lowell Park. But trusting our guys on the Point Streak side of it. 3 runs already home here, and Falmouth still looking for the first out. The bases are fully loaded here for Cotuit, with this game pretty much hanging in a balance right now. The 2-0 from Van Creek, a slider put over the press box here at Lowell Park, foul. The inning started with a Caleb Lomavita solo shot, 3 straight innings with a solo home run for Cotuit. Typically, we've seen Van Creek battle all the way back after that. Well, he walked Galaney, gave up a base hit to Harry, another one to Peebles. An error and a hit by pitch is where this one stands now. The 2-1, a slider cut on and missed. So from 2-0 to 2-2.
Looks like another left-handed pitcher up and warming in the bullpen for the Doors.
Coming set is Van Creek. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Gave him the slider. It's right back to Logan. He's going to go home for the putout to Yannick. And Yannick dropped the ball. They're going to say it's on the transfer, though. And it'll still be an out.
And that's massive. You get the out. Run doesn't score. Double play ball now gets you out of the inning and keeps the deficit to 4.
Mike Landry will come out of the mound now for a conversation. Zach, I'm for the call. But my goodness, Van Creek's throwing hand was not near that glove at all. I think that was a very complimentary decision to say that it was on the transfer and that the out was recorded. That's a very interesting ruling there. Nonetheless, it helps Falmouth. You get the out. Mark Chamberlain saying that he at least held the ball in his glove long enough for the putout to be recorded. That's a 1-2 from Kalai Harrison. But he reaches to first base. Out at home is Peebles. With now Pitre over to third base. The hit batter, Waldschmidt's at second. And Kalai Harrison on that fielder's choice stands on first. Mike Landry having a conversation. There is a move to the bullpen being made. We'll let you know who it is in just a second. We'll be right back on the Commodores Radio Network. The new left-handed pitcher on the mound trying to strand the bases loaded is Parker Coyle. We saw him a couple nights ago against Orleans in his first outing for Falmouth.
Yeah, looked pretty good. He got the loss in that game, allowed a couple of runs late that gave Orleans the lead, but overall looked really good. 3 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits. Those 2 runs, neither of them were earned. And then the walk and the 4 strikeouts as he was able to work his way through that Firebirds order. Had himself an up and down season at Arkansas, but getting his bearings in the SEC and now coming out here to the Cape.
Brett Bateman is the first man to meet him left on left. Very, very tough matchup here. We've talked about Bateman being the Cape League's best hitter for average right now at .514 entering this one. 0 for 2, though, to start the outing today.
Dips his average below 500.
You're right. He entered the contest, I should say, at .514, and now will be below that mark for sure. Pitch on the way here. It's a fastball up from Coyle for a ball. This is the 8th hitter to be in the box in this bottom of the 4th for Cotuit. It's a big spot here for the Doors defensively. The 1-1 driven on the ground. That's going to be a base hit into right field. 1 run is in. They're waving the second man around. The throw will not be cut off, and it's late. It's a 2-run base hit for Brett Bateman. And right now, a 5 spot on the board here in the 4th inning for Cotuit at 7-1.
The train keeps moving for the Kettleers. This team is the best team on the Cape so far, and they are frustrated after last night's game. They're trying to put it on.
Petre was already in to score. Waldschmidt in as well. Now Calais Harrison now stands on second. First pitch swing. This is popped up behind the plate. Yannick will make the play, and if nothing else, a really quick second out.
Just keeping things going and trying to shut it down as much as you can if you're Parker Coyle. Those runs aren't against his line. Doesn't like allowing them when he inherited them, but trying to just keep this deficit where it has been. This Falmouth offense did score 12 runs a couple of days ago. They can put up runs, but a long way back right now.
So now Caleb Lomavita will step in. You remember, if you're with us to start this inning, he led it off with a solo shot. As they have completely batted around here in the 4th. The pitch from Coyle. Slider jammed him, sent it straight back and foul. Good quick work here by Parker to be up 0-2. A 5-run inning on 4 hits for the Kettleers here. 1 strike away from getting out of it are the Commodores. Pitch on the way. This one's sharply on the ground. It eats off of Bazell into left field. That's going to allow the runner to score from second. And Calais Harrison will come in to score. Now the throw gets into right. And the Doors are going to recover it. That's Snell getting over there. And it's the 6th run of the inning for Cotuit. It's 8-1.
I think that's going to go as a single. And
I think you're right, yeah.
Continuing to keep things moving. I mean, up to 7 hits already in the game, 5 of them in this inning.
So Lomavita has his 2nd hit of the inning, and now Ryan Galaney steps in. Going on it and sliding in without a throw. I mean, that's just quite the effort there to run it down. Lomavita, without a throw, will swipe second. Galaney taking that strike. Why not, given the run support here in the inning? And Coyle, really now, you'd like to just strand everyone here now that they count against your line. Slider here. Low to the right-handed bat of Galaney. 1-1. Bateman stands on third. Lomavita now on second. This one's fouled straight back. It's 1-2. Falmouth will have a little bit of laundry to do here throughout the rest of this ball game as the 5th inning looms on. 1 strike from getting out of it here is Parker Coyle. Look back to second where Lomavita stands. Out of the stretch, the pitch. Look to be a changeup. Good block behind the plate by Yannick. You'd like to find a way here without giving up any more. It's been a long inning for the Commodores defensively. Coyle again looks to second, and now he goes. Long, big breaking ball, not getting the call from Chamberlain. Yannick was already running in towards the dugout, and so is Parker Coyle. We'll do it again.
Yeah, I think the majority of the Falmouth defense was headed back towards the dugout there. Just couldn't catch that back corner.
Coyle will have to at least fire another pitch with the 3-2 effort. Jay Harry on deck. Had a base hit his last time in this inning. As Galaney faces the 3-2. Really big knee bend. The pitch. Fastball fouled off of Yannick again. And that one ate him up a little bit too, and now he's wincing a bit.
Yeah, these catchers taking a beating for the Doors in this early part of the season.
And Yannick now will walk around a little bit. And it appears that he's going to still try to stay in this ball game, adjusting his left shin guard there now. And it looks like he'll be okay. Catchers are tough back there. On your knees and down in the crouch the entire game. Got to be a wall back there, and sometimes some redirections there off the bat don't feel too great. The 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Goes with the slider into the right-handed bat, and the inning finally ends, but not before 6 come in for Cotuit on 5 hits. An ugly inning. It's all the home team here at Lowell Park. A lot of work to do for Falmouth if they want to make this one a ball game here on the Commodores Radio Network. Well, after all that chaos here in the inning, you know the score here at Lowell Park, but Destiny Sanchez will tell us about the scores everywhere else.
Thanks, Matt. The YD Red Sox and the Brewster Whitecaps are scoreless at the top of the 5th. The Chatham Anglers and the Wareham Gatemen are also scoreless at the top of the 1st. The Bourne Braves and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks are scoreless at the top of the 1st as well, and the Harwich Mariners and the Orleans Firebirds are in pregame.
You know, the Commodores getting in on the action here early. They had another one start around this time. I believe it was Brewster not having lights over there as well, and the game started relatively early at 5 o'clock. And for the first time tomorrow, not to look too far ahead, but you'll get a chance to play under the lights late at 7 over there in Chatham.
Yeah, just trying to, at this point in the game, there's still little time left, or quite a bit of time. I mean, we saw the comeback from Hyannis yesterday against Cotuit. That was 6 runs entering the bottom of the 9th. So it's possible, but you also want to build towards tomorrow and build towards the rest of this season. Still 33 games to go.
A late heavy shift on the right side of the infield done by Harrison and Pitre, and now they'll converse a little bit in the middle infield. It looks like Pitre is playing a normal second base spot back in on the grass. To the opposite field, Banks will back up a little bit. Nearly lost his balance and will make the play out there in left for the first out of the inning on Travis Pizzana.
That ball had a little more carry to it than Banks thought it did. It just kept on going and used all of that frame out in left to make that play.
So that is the first out of the inning for Falmouth on that line out to left field. Now John Spikerman steps in. He reached on the fielder's choice, swiped second, and ended up staying there. The Doors already to this point. Only 1 run on 2 hits, but they've stranded 5 base runners. This one's on the ground, foul along the first base line. They responded right away after the second leadoff home run that made it 2-1. And then that big, heavy 6-run third inning. Checked out the 4th inning, excuse me. Fastball up and away here from Gigliotti. Haven't said his name in quite some time after that long affair. 1-2.
Yeah, it was not ideal for Falmouth, but you're back at the plate now, got a chance.
Hung the slider in there to Spikerman. He gets under it, though. Banks a little bit of movement to his left and then back to his right to field the pop out. Tio Banks getting a workout over there in left, 2 away.
Yeah, a couple of balls hit right at him the other way and having to play that tail off the left-handed bats.
Cal DeBarge, one of 2 Falmouth hits today. A lot of other guys have reached because of the free passes that Gigliotti surrendered to this point. It'd be nice to just chip away a little bit if you can. The first pitch here to the shortstop of Falmouth. 84 on the upper outer part of the zone for a strike. The pitch on the way, Gigliotti goes with 85, a little bit lower, same spot on the outer part of the plate. And just like that, ahead 0-2 right away. Really, really quick inning of work here. 1 strike away from Gigliotti to retire the doors. Looked like that same cut action fastball that works away from the righties. That one's for a ball. 1-2. Again, out of the full wind here is Gigliotti. Accepts a sign and fires away. Fastball left it up there. That one a little bit harder at 86. 2-2. Another one here. The 2-2 pitch. Working relatively quickly. That's a slider low. So from 0-2, it's now full with Kevin Bazell on deck.
Really good at bat here from DeBarge. At the very least, you just want to extend this inning, make Gigliotti throw some more pitches.
3-2. Line drive, base hit into left. Gave him that same slider up and away, and he was all over that one. And it's a 2-out base hit, and DeBarge has 2 hits today, 3 total for Falmouth.
That's the pitch he's looking for in that spot. He got it last time he was up in a 3-2 count, and he couldn't do anything with it. Popped out toward right field, but this time able to get out in front of it and pull it through the 5-5 hole there.
Well, Bazell, first time now in the cleanup role for Falmouth. He will try, maybe in this inning here, to do a little bit of what cleanup guys do. Just try to take advantage of the 2-out situation here with a base runner aboard. He takes the first pitch, a slider away for a strike. Anything to try to keep the magic alive here and do what you can. Chasing 7. This one's chopped on the ground. Harrison goes the long way and throws to first. Galaney will make the pick. And a 2-out base hit from DeBarge is stranded. Nothing for the Doors. They'll try to keep this thing at a 7-run deficit as we head now to the bottom of the 5th here on the Commodores Radio Network. Parker Coyle back out there again. He had to relieve Logan Van Treek, who, maybe through the first 3 innings, you would have thought after all those solo shots, he was getting himself comfortable. This 3 hits given up, they all went over the fence. But a tough outing for the lefty out of Lipscomb. 3 1/3, 5 hits given up, 8 total runs, 7 earned to his line. He walked 1 Kettleer and struck out 3.
Yeah, just Cotuit finding some barrels and finding pitches they like in that last inning. And it felt like a lot of them were in 2-strike counts. Van Treek just couldn't put away hitters in that 4th inning and didn't end up getting out of it.
So since the first inning, every single leadoff bat has not only found a way to reach, but they've hit a home run. So you'd like that trend to end here, given that 6 came across there for Cotuit in the bottom of the 4th. First pitch to Jay Harry, taken for a strike. Player Destiny Sanchez, our reporter's very familiar with out of Penn State. The slider here misses low and away to Harry. 1-1. Coyle accepts the sign out of the full wind, fires the pitch, spiked in the dirt. Left down there by Harry, 2-1.
This is the first time Walker Yannick's caught Parker Coyle, as Ross Highfield was back there during Coyle's debut a few days ago against Orleans.
The 2-1 on the way. This one's roped out into the gap of right center. Spikerman on his horse, and it gets away from him. Backing it up is Tracy in right, and Harry will cruise into second with a double to lead off the inning.
It's not a homer, but it's not much better if you're Falmouth.
So a leadoff base runner again. That has been the name of the game today for Cotuit. And to keep some sort of trend alive, 4 consecutive innings with an extra base hit to lead off the frame for the guys in the red Cape Cod jerseys tonight.
Very different story this Friday than last Friday for Falmouth in Brewster in a 1-0 win. Kettleers are all over this pitching group today and just got to flush it and move on.
They found something here on these southpaws that are being used by Falmouth. A look back to Harry at second. The slow bender in there for a strike at 72 on the gun, 1-1. Peebles out of NC State. We talked about his numbers last time he came up. He had an RBI knock during that long inning that we had a second ago in the bottom of the fourth for Cotuit. Martin was thinking about holding him. Now he gets back to his normal position at second, and the slider drops in there for a strike, 1-2.
It's a really good pitch. Get yourself ahead in the count. Now try and put somebody away.
Coyle's got a shot here to pick up that first out of the inning and try to keep Harry at second base. He looks back at him and now lifts the leg and goes. This one's driven into left. That's going to be a base hit as well. Harry rounding the bag at second. He loses his leg and his footing there at third, and he dives back in there safely at third base. And they're on the corners. Back-to-back hits to begin, and it continues here with another threat from Cotuit with still nobody out.
And these aren't softly hit singles either. These balls are barreled up again and again, 1 through 9. Hitting's contagious, and boy, have they all caught it here in Cotuit.
Emilian Pitre now in the box. Mike Landry is not even on the top step. He is standing just beyond the guardrail that they have in front of the dugouts. On the ground here, a diving play by Snell. He'll decide to just go to first on the fielder's choice. A run does come in to score. Jay Harry in, and it's now 9-1. So rule that a 3 unassisted, which allows Peebles to move on to second. That's the first out of the inning. Some more damage being done here against the line of the Commodores. Waldschmidt steps in, led off the third with a solo shot, made it 2-1. And he got hit by a pitch. Now he drives one out to the gap in right center. That's going to get down. Spikerman cuts it off. Not able to move on past third is Peebles. He's standing in at third now. And again, they're on the corners with one away.
And that's a testament to the speed of Spikerman out there. 1, to get to it quickly, but 2, Peebles had to hold up at second base because he thought that Spikerman may have had a chance to get to that one, which would have been really, really difficult to do.
I mean, Zach, we are seeing swings by the Kettleers exclusively early on in counts. There have been a very rare instant dating back into that long fourth inning where counts have really ran to 2 strikes or even 2 balls. It's been very early cuts here by Cotuit. Kettleers are seeing what they like so far from these lefties of Falmouth and jumping all over the baseball. Now Kalai Harrison swinging a miss. 1-1. Got a nice slow pitch there at 78. Came up empty. Kalai reached to first last time during the long inning on that 1-2 putout by Van Treek. Another slider here, swinging a miss. Big one-handed finish there on the cut from Kalai. And you'd like to see the second out picked up by Coyle. Otherwise, I'm not sure how much longer he will go in this ball game. He's been hit a little bit here in this inning and during that long frame as well. The 1-2. Just barely getting a piece of it and chopping it straight back to the screen. We'll do the 1-2 again. 9-1 for Cotuit as we're just past the halfway point of this ball game. A big 6-run inning in the fourth. Already 2 home here in the fifth. This one lined the other way. A dive by Bazell. He can't get it. That's a base hit along the third base line. Another run will come in to score and another RBI knock. And it's a 10 spot for Cotuit here in the fifth.
They're pouring it on, and they're very much on pace to catch Falmouth and their output from Wednesday for the most runs scored in a game so far this year.
Mike Landry now will make the walk, and this will be it for Parker Coyle. Coyle only lasting about an inning and a third. He's not really able to find much better than Van Treek. There is a conversation. We'll see if the call to the bullpen will be made. Right now, no movement yet, but the rest of the Falmouth infield joins the discussion. And sometimes that's all it is, partner. I mean, 11 hits by Cotuit. They're seeing everything the size of a beach ball right now.
Yeah, just finding a way. Everything looks good to the Kettleers right now, and you can't really do much about it because they're hitting everything that's in the zone. They're hitting fastballs. They're hitting breaking balls. If you're throwing it over the plate, Cotuit's hitting it tonight.
The Kettleers head to Spillane Field tomorrow. We'll see the Gateman. Meanwhile, we'll be with you in Chatham tomorrow night at 7 p.m. from Veterans Field. Parker Coyle still out there on the mound as Mike Landry makes the walk back to the dugout. And he'll remain in this ball game. So he'll have a chance here to work against the top of the order, Brett Bateman, who through the first 2 at-bats had been retired pretty convincingly, but had a big 2-run single during that long inning. He was the 8th man to bat in the inning that saw Loma Vida and Galaney bat for a second time in the 4th before the inning finally came to an end. He takes a fastball up and in, leaving it there 1-0. The pitch from Coyle, slider, swung and missed at 79 on the gun. That's the first strike of the AB. Still traffic on the bases. Waldschmidt stands on second. Kalai Harrison standing on first. Coyle looking back to Waldschmidt, lifts the leg and delivers. This one just slapped to the opposite field. It hangs up for Turley. He'll make the play. A nice job getting the second out here for Falmouth. The base runners have to stay put with 2 away.
Trying to settle themselves down, but back to talking about Coyle remaining in a game like this, sometimes you just have to get through it and you just have to get outs.
Not by any means are the Commodores waving the white flag. I wouldn't say that, but you do want to eat up innings in a game where you need to save some arms maybe for tomorrow.
Well, and just at the end of the day, you just got to get outs.
First pitch swinging on the ground. That's going to get through the right side for a base hit. Whirling around second and on his way home, and in there is Waldschmidt. It's an RBI base hit, and it is a 10-run lead for the Kettleers here at Lowell Park. And it's been a beatdown here on the Commodores today. T.O. Banks just keeping the line moving with that RBI hit. That's his first hit of the day. He now stands on first. Waldschmidt came all the way around to score. He scored 3 times today already. And Kalai Harrison stands on second for Loma Vida. First pitch swinging, got the slider in on him. He jammed it. Bazell fires along the diamond and makes the play. Another long inning for the Kettleers. They put up 3. And it's 11-1 for the home team. A lot has to change before this one can be a ball game once again. But to walk us through it, it'll be my partner Zach Serdenik the rest of the way. It's 11-1 Cotuit here from Lowell Park on the Commodores Radio Network.
It's 11-1. Kettleers in front through 5 innings of play from Lowell Park. Cotuit showing why it sits atop The West Division standings through the early going, looking for win number 9 and well on their way to it. Walker Yannick, Gavin Turley, and Cade Snell due up. That's 5, 6, 7 in the order for Falmouth here in the top of the 6th. 9 runs in the last 2 frames put up by Cotuit. Falmouth trying to get back on the board here after their 1 run in the 4th. Gigliotti with an elevated slider that gets a big swing and a miss from Walker Yannick. 0 for 1 with a walk for the Doors catcher to this point. Digs in from the right side against the big righty in Gigliotti. Works from the wind. 0-1 goes right back off speed, but it stays up and in, and Yannick lays off it. Yannick's last at bat flew out to right field. Pops that one foul out of play. Gigliotti ahead in the count now 1-2.
Yeah, partner, the most impressive thing of this whole thing is this is a Cotuit team in the bottom 3 teams in hits amongst the Cape teams. It's all been moving the carousel aside of those 3 solo shots. 12 hits through 5 innings by these Kettleers. It's been impressive what they've done.
1-2, poked foul down the first base side. It was a slider away that Yannick just got a piece of. So it definitely found their mojo at the plate tonight.
Had to think they're playing a little bit angry after what happened last night and that collapse in the 9th inning.
They're showing it today and finding their way back. The 1-2. Strike 3 called. Yannick goes down looking, a fastball, the outside edge. Yannick doesn't like it, has some words for Mark Chamberlain, but he'll walk back to the dugout as out number 1.
Yeah, a little bit of discussion there from Yannick. He's been behind the plate, been catching the zone that Chamberlain's been setting. You think no one else would know the zone better than Chamberlain himself, then probably one of those catchers who's in the box batting, and looked close enough to swing, I think, on 2 strikes.
Brings up Gavin Turley. First pitch slider outside. 1-0. Righty out of Oregon State. 0 for 1 was hit by a pitch. Gigliotti delivers, runs in, almost hit him again, and they will rule that it hit him. Gavin Turley has taken a couple of pitches inside and gets to walk down to first base once again, a 1-out base runner for Falmouth.
I mean, obviously he's okay there, but that really is the last thing you'd want to see in a game like this. These guys are fighting for at-bats. You're down by a big, ugly number. You're fighting for your own personal statistics and trying to just keep yourself in the lineup and all that. You don't want to get hurt in these games. You don't at all. And luckily, it looked like it brushed him on the jersey, but anything along the fingers and the ligaments, you don't want that to happen.
At the 3rd hit batter by Gigliotti to this point in the game. First pitch to Snell, misses low and outside on the changeup. They're still shifting Snell to pull. Harrison playing a couple of steps to the left of second base. Lefty Snell slices one down the left field line. That'll get down for a base hit. Turley held up at second, and back-to-back opposite field singles in 2 at-bats for Cade Snell, and back-to-back base runners for Falmouth, 2 on with 1 away.
Yeah, I mean, the Commodores trying to start something here, obviously. There will be a discussion now at the mound involving Jay Gigliotti, but hey, taking one the other way. You know, you can just find a way to work these at-bats. These guys, like we said, are still fighting for their own personal stuff here, and you know, you can't erase a 10-run deficit in one single at-bat. It'll take everyone helping out, and what we've seen so far will certainly help.
2 aboard, and the Doors have chased Jake Gigliotti from the ball game after 5 1/3 innings of work. Cotuit still well in front. It's 11-1. We'll give you the new arm when we come back on the Commodores Radio Network. Chet Gigliotti's day is done after 5 1/3 innings pitched. 4 hits, 1 run for the moment, but is responsible for both base runners aboard, 2 walks, 3 hit batters, and 2 strikeouts. And he gives way to Tanner Thatch out of UNC Wilmington.
Yeah, 2 appearances, 2 innings of work, gave up 2 hits, but has stayed clean up there on the mound at Wilmington, and this is his first appearance out on the mound here in the Cape season. Could partially have to do with the deficit the way it is right now. You can save some of your arms if you're Cotuit. There's a reason this pitching staff, that sub 2.8 ERA, they've got good arms, and anytime you can rest them, you'll certainly like to do it to keep them fresh.
Lefty delivers a curveball for a called strike to Christian Martin. You mentioned it's his first appearance on the mound. It's not his first appearance for the Kettleers. 10 appearances at the plate. Tied for second in the league in home runs. He's got a pair of them already. Doing pretty well at the dish. Now taking the rubber. Goes right back to that breaking ball. Gets a swing and a miss, and he's quickly ahead of Christian Martin, 0-2. Gavin Turley was hit by a pitch. He stands at second. The single from Cade Snell has him at first. 2 aboard with 1 away. 0-2 goes right back to that off-speed pitch, and it leaks just a little outside, a 1-2 count.
Yeah, partner, we saw his 4-pitch mix a little bit in warm-ups there. Looks like he's got a curveball slider as his breaking pitches, a fastball, and a changeup too.
Big lefty with a couple of looks back. Left leg kick, fastball well high. Nice job by Loma Vida to jump out of the stance there. Keep that from getting to the backstop. It's a relatively deep backstop here, and it's all chain link fence here at Lowell Park, so it can take some weird bounces depending on where it hits. The break even from Thatch. It's a breaking ball, gets a swing and a miss by Martin. Thatch enters out of the bullpen, gets a strikeout, and 2-1 now with 2 away for Tab Tracy.
Yeah, it'll come down to Tab trying to extend the inning here. We saw him have a really deep fly ball to right last time. Let's see if he can get on something here again. Like, you're not going to do it all at once, just anything here. A base hit could probably score the run on second, which is Gavin Turley, and you'd hate to strand these base runners. Falmouth has stranded a runner in every single inning so far today, and that trend could possibly continue here as well.
Tracy with that slightly open stance from the left side takes the breaking ball outside. It's 1-0. Infield shifted a few steps against Tracy. The third baseman, Harry, playing on the edge of the grass over at third. Harrison holding on, Turley at second, just a couple of steps to the left of second base. Fastball up and outside. It's 2-0 to Tracy.
Now you got to wonder how selective you're going to be here because you have another left-handed bat in Bazana on deck. But it is a hitter's count here. You're chasing by a big number. I think you could get the green light here from Tab Tracy.
Couple of looks back to second, 2-0. Fastball for a called strike. Gets Thatch back in the count. It's 2-1. Turley has good speed at second. Snell stands over at first, no one holding him on, so a good size lead. 2-1, breaking ball, roped into right field, a base hit. Turley being waved around, he'll head to the plate. The throw is cut off, the relay, in time, and they got him. Turley thrown out at the plate. A relay for the Kettleers retires the side. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Cotuit still in front, 11-1 from Lowell Park. It's an 11-1 ball game. The bats have been all over the place for Cotuit. 4-5-6 up to face Parker Coyle in the bottom of the sixth after Cabin Turley was thrown out trying to score from second base on a Tab Tracy single to retire the side in the top of the sixth. Fastball outside to Ryan Galaney. Already a homer and a walk. Couple of runs scored for the Wofford Terrier. That home run was just his second hit of the summer out here, but he had 17 long balls for Wofford earlier this season. Takes a called strike and a fastball at the knees from Parker Coyle. It's a 1-1 count. Freshman southpaw to Arkansas delivers. Breaking ball fouled back off the foot of Galaney. It's righty-lefty switch hitter to face Parker Coyle here in the Kettleers order. Bottom of the sixth inning, it's 11-1. Cotuit solo shots to lead off the second, third, and fourth. That fourth inning home run sparked a 6-run rally for Cotuit, and then 3 more in the last inning. Fastball misses up, evens the count 2-2. Infield playing straight up, deep across the diamond against Galaney. Outfield pretty straight and deep as well. The break even is a breaking ball. Slow chopper, third base side, going to be a tough play. Bazell can't field the bare hand cleanly. Had a do-or-die chance and couldn't come up with it. An infield single to start the inning for Ryan Galaney.
That's a tough play there by Bazell. It's a lot of speed in Galaney despite being in the cleanup spot. That's a tough play regardless, but then even there, just right when it appeared to have hopped into the hand of Bazell, it took a weird hop in the grass, kind of caught him off guard a little bit, and those plays are already tough as it is, but I don't think he even had a chance to begin with.
Pickoff attempt to first base, not in time. Galaney's back in standing up. It's Jay Harry now. He's got a pair of hits and a pair of runs scored. A single back in the fourth and then led off the last inning with a double. Slider just misses below the knees to Harry. It's 1-0. Harry was a .250 hitter entering today, but that average going to go up a little bit with his start today. Look over to first. Galaney back in standing up again.
Harry, the only Kettleer right now without an RBI in this game. Everyone has contributed to this effort today.
Ground ball to short, and it hops over the glove at DeBarge and into center. Took a tough hop. And another base runner, 2 aboard with nobody out.
Yeah, well, the common trend of what they tell you when scoring games is if the ball goes under your glove and through, it's an error. If it hops over your glove, it's a base hit. And that is as cruel of a hop as you could see there for Kyle DeBarge to make the play on. It's almost like what else could go wrong here for Falmouth. Ground ball in the infield, you think you can turn 2, and just like that, 2 straight hits, and nobody out.
Yeah, back-to-back singles to start the inning against Coyle. Breaking ball spiked in, and nice job there by Yannick. Keep it in front. It's 1-0 to Cannon Peebles. Pair of hits, run scored, and RBI. The Kettleers' designated hitter today. Hard ground ball right at DeBarge again, and he can't field it cleanly, but still able to almost turn it. They got the out at second. The relay from Christian Martin was just a half step slow. So Peebles beats it out, breaks up the double play. There's runners on the corners now with 1 away.
Yeah, you got to rule that a 6-4. No error, obviously. I mean, it was so close, but you would think maybe, as this one's in there, that DeBarge maybe on the slight bobble maybe affects why the 6-4-3 wasn't converted. You can't rule it that way. It is a straight-up fielder's choice. You'll take the first out, you can get there, and now you got to hope for a ground ball.
Fastball catches the zone for a called strike. It's 0-1.
This is the only hitter in the lineup for Cotuit without a hit today. Emilian Petrie trying to join the hit parade today.
Slap foul over the Kettleers' dugout. It's 1-2. Petrie out of Kentucky had a really strong season for the Wildcats this year. Now coming up to the Cape, this is the debut game for Petrie. Trying to build on that 0-for-3, but can't do it there. Cuts on a fastball and comes up empty. A strikeout for out number 2 And there's runners on the corners. A chance here for Parker Coyle to get out of this inning unscathed and put a 0 up on the scoreboard.
Yeah, the Doors haven't put up a 0 since a 1-2-3 inning by Logan Van Treek back in the first inning. It's been 1-1, 6, and 3 since then. Part of the big ugly number you see there here at Lowell Park.
First pitch breaking ball stays up from Coyle to Ryan Waldschmidt. He's reached all 3 plate appearances and scored all 3. Homered in the third, was hit by a pitch and scored in the fourth, singled and scored in the fifth. And then threw out that runner at the plate to end the inning. Breaking ball for a called strike evens up the count. 1-1. Change up low. Yannick keeps it in front. 2-1 count. Peebles at first. He reached on the fielder's choice. Galaney led the inning off with a single. He stands at third. The 2-1. Hit on the ground, right back up the middle. Martin with a backhand play. Throw to first. Not in time. It gets away from Snell. 1 run comes in. Peebles moves up to third. They're back on the corners, and it's 12-1 Cotuit.
Yeah, they rule that one a base hit. That's the 15th hit already for the Kettleers. And with the ball getting away, they do rule that a throwing error by Martin.
Yeah, single, and then the error allows the runner to move up to third. First pitch to Kalai Harrison. It's a called strike and a fastball, top of the zone. Swing and a miss on the slide piece. It's quickly 0-2. "12 runs on 15 hits for Cotuit, 1 run on 5 hits for Falmouth." The 0-2. Strike 3 called. Fastball. And Coyle dispatches of Harrison to retire the side, but the Kettleers get another. It's 12-1 as we head to the 7th from Lowell Park. You are listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball. Top of the order for Falmouth in a 12-1 ball game. In the top of the 7th, it's Travis Bazzana stepping up and taking a breaking ball for a called strike from Tanner Thatch, who entered to replace Jake Igliotti. Final line for him, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Fastball fouled back to the screen. It's quickly 0-2 to Bazzana. 0 for 2, was hit by a pitch in the third, making his Cape debut after a second-team All-American season at Oregon State. 0-2, curveball low and outside. Bazzana lays off it.
If nothing else, I think you want to see the new guys get comfortable. There's been a growing pain period we've seen from debuts for guys coming in and out, but the Oregon State guys coming in here, you'd like to see them get on base.
1-2. This time the slider, and it stays high. A 2-2 count. Good at bat, worked by Bazana. There is motion now in the Falmouth bullpen. 2-2 misses high. Count runs full 3-2. A righty up and throwing for the Doors. And a full count to Bazana. Thatch rocks himself set on the rubber. The payoff pitch. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Punches him out on the curveball. Bazana goes down swinging to start the top of the 7th. And brings up switch hitter John Spikerman, who will bat from the right side for the first time tonight. Second punch out for Tanner Thatch. Spikerman stepping in. Gets a lot of work in these BP sessions before the game. Got to get his swings in from the right side and from the left, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you step in there. You assume that you're going to be able to bat with the batter's advantage, just flipping on the opposite side, and that's what he's done here.
That first pitch fastball missed. Second pitch, same spot, same result. It's 2-0.
Obviously, Spikerman starting this game up against the right-hander. We saw him in the left-handed batter's box a couple of times, and now he's in there in the right-handed box against the left-hander on the mound.
Misses low with the off-speed. It's quickly 3-0 to Spikerman, and a new baseball requested by Loma Vida. Spikerman way ahead, trying to get his speed on the base paths for the second time. On a fielder's choice, his first time to reach. Fastball for a called strike. 3-1 count now to Spikerman. Still way ahead. Shoots one to short on the 3-1. Fielded on a hop by Harrison. Throw across. Gets the speedy Spikerman by a step for out number 2.
Yeah, just again, a couple ground balls in play for Falmouth and the swinging strikeout from Bazana, and not a whole lot else. I mean, they have stranded base runners today. Every inning, the Doors have stranded a base runner up to this point, a total of 8 in this ball game. And on just 4 hits, they've taken advantage of what Cotuit's given them. Just haven't found a way to bring them in.
Called strike on the first pitch. To Kyle DeBarge. He's got a pair of hits. Has 2 of the 5 hits for Falmouth to this point. Shoots one on the ground to third. Harry will field, a couple of pumps. Fires a throw across the diamond to get to Barge. Doors go down in order in the top of the 7th. It's 12-1 Cotuit at the stretch from Lowell Park. Bottom of the 7th inning, a 12-1 Kettleers lead. Sam Highfill taking the mound for the Doors. His second appearance as Commodore, the last one coming a few days ago, Matt.
Yeah, we saw him in the Orleans game, a 5-4 loss at home for the Doors. Highfill in that appearance, 2 innings of work, gave up a hit, a run, and a strikeout. He was the last arm used for Falmouth towards the end of that game. And, was used in that leverage. It was a very high leverage spot now just to get him some more work and maybe probably, I would think, be used over the course of this now bottom of the 7th and bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, that one hit he gave up was a solo shot back in the top of the 9th of that game against the Firebirds to Jake Casey. And that run ended up being the difference in the game. That insurance run was definitely needed there by the Firebirds. And now he'll face the top of the order for Cotuit. Brett Bateman, T.O. Banks, and Caleb Lomavita. Highfill, the big righty, works from the windup against the left-handed hitter in Bateman. First pitch, swinging and a base hit out to right field. The 16th hit of the ball game for Cotuit. Tracy gets to it and flips it in. And the leadoff man aboard for the 6th straight inning for Cotuit. All of them with hits, too, not walks or anything there. 6 straight innings with leadoff hits.
I believe Falmouth, I think, just has 1 walk today defensively because of the effort we're seeing from the bats of Cotuit. They're finding pitches and putting them in play.
First pitch swinging by T.O. Banks, fouls it back out of play, and it's 0-1. Banks to this point 1 for 4, RBI single back in the 5th. Hits for all but one player in the Cotuit order. RBIs for all but one player in the Cotuit order as well. Banks sends one back to the screen. It's 0-2. Bateman and Banks, the lone Kettleers that have yet to score in this game for Cotuit. An offensive outburst that we have not seen in any of our games yet to this point. It's an 0-2 count to the Tulane Wave in the box. Righty-righty matchup, the 0-2, swing and a miss. Good off-speed pitch, gets Banks fishing for it, and the first out recorded here in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, slowed him down, looked like a good changeup away to the right-on-right matchup, and, give up that big base hit right out of the box, then you get back to being able to work deeper in counts and mix up the pitches there. Nice recovery work there by Highfill in the first out.
The catcher, Caleb Lomavita, steps in out of Cal Berkeley and takes first pitch up. It's 1-0. He homered back in the 4th, singled in the 5th. Couple of RBIs. Kettleers catcher. Bateman with good speed. He's creeping off the bag at first, being held on by Snell. Highfill rocks himself set at the belt. Bluffs the steal. The 1-0 is a changeup low. Lomavita ahead in the count now 2-0. Sam Highfill led the Wolfpack in wins this season, had 6 at NC State. A former Team USA Collegiate National Team member snaps off a fastball that just misses low and out. It's 3-0 to Lomavita. Bateman still over at first base. Continuing to increase that lead every time. The 3-0 swinging and a fly ball into shallow right center. Spikerman with a long run. He'll make the catch on the run. A little underhand snag at the hip as he sprints in. A 3-0 flyout for out number 2.
You'll take that. Obviously, you don't want this thing to get progressively worse like it has been. Behind the count, big time was Highfill 3-0. Up by so many runs, you would think, and it shows. Green light there in a situation, and, getting out on it. You don't walk a batter and make it 2 on with 1 away. Now it's 1 on with 2 out. Big difference.
Galaney digs in. Takes a big swing at a fastball, but Highfill blows it by him at 92. It's 0-1. Galaney has reached in 3 of his 4 plate appearances, a homer, a single, and a walk, and has scored all 3 times. Deep breath from Highfill. 0-1, breaking ball, shot foul down the third base line, in and out of the hands. Third base coach there for the Kettleers. Dugout letting him hear it. Picks it up and laughs it off with him. An 0-2 count awaits Galaney. Bends the knees from the right side as he digs in, widens the stance with 2 strikes. Holds that bat right over the right shoulder. Fastball from Highfield misses up, and it's 1-2. Infield playing fairly deep across the diamond. Outfield straight up against Galaney, but playing deep. Well aware of the power in that bat.
Yeah, we saw it in the second inning, the leadoff home run.
1-2, misses low with the fastball. Galaney's worked himself back even. 12-1 Cotuit with 6 runs for the Kettleers in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, and then 1 in the 2nd, 3rd, and 6th. Highfield looking for that first 0 since the first inning. The 2-2. Ground ball back up the middle. DeBarge fields, and a nice flip to Christian Martin at second. Fielder's choice retires the side. Sam Highfield puts a 0 on the board. Cotuit still with an 11-run advantage as we head to the 8th on the Commodores Radio Network. It's a 12-1 ball game at Lowell Park, but a lot of other action going around along the Cape here. With more on that, Destiny Sanchez.
Thanks, Zach. The YD Red Sox lead the Brewster Whitecaps 2-0 at the top of the 8th. The Wareham Gatemen lead the Chatham Anglers 6-1 at the top of the 3rd. The Bourne Braves lead the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 4-2 at the bottom of the 3rd. And at the bottom of the 2nd, the Orleans Firebirds and the Harwich Mariners are scoreless.
Thank you for that, Destiny. A lot of other games going on every night here in the Cape League. All 10 teams playing every day scheduled. The off days belong to everybody and are used to fill the rainouts that we've seen already, a few of them here. And that set up this 9 games in 9 days stretch for the Doors and for the rest of the league as well. First pitch fastball from Tanner Thatch to Kevin Bazell. Misses outside. It's 1-0. Heart of the order coming up here for the Doors in the 8th. Bazell, Yannick, and Turley to face Tanner Thatch. Lefty delivers. Backdoor slider for a called strike. Evens up the count at 1-1. Infield deep across the diamond. No defensive changes to this point for Cotuit, despite the big advantage. Fastball sent right back to the screen by Bazell, and it's 1-2.
And if nothing else, you're obviously just trying to maybe work on some mechanical things. If you're in the box, only 4 hits from the Doors today. Just try to find something to work with going into tomorrow's game against Chatham.
Thatch lifts the leg, the 1-2, hit hard on the ground, but a one-hopper to short. Harrison Fields moving to his right, throw in the dirt, but a nice pick over at first base for out number 1.
It's a really good hard hit ball there by Kevin Bazell. That's back-to-back. Ground out to the shortstop. He's putting Harrison to get a workout in over there at short, but just a really good piece there in the 1-2, staying with that baseball down lower in the zone. And just a tough break there, despite barreling one up there nicely.
Brings up Walker Yannick. Spinner stays outside at 75. It's 1-0 to Yannick. Reached on a walk in the second, a fly out and a strikeout. Besides that, 1-0, fastball high and out. Quickly 2-0. Thatch works first base side of the rubber, out of the stretch, delivers fastball fouled out of play. It's 2-1.
Yannick just ahead of that breaking ball there. Pulled it and hooked it foul. Souvenir for the fans gathered along foul territory. And a lot of fans here at Lowell Park today. Friday night, weekend baseball.
Definitely getting a good one if you're a Cotuit fan. Breaking ball fouled back Evens up the count at 2-2 on pitch number 30 for Tanner Thatch out of the bullpen. There is some movement out there for Cotuit, but no one up and throwing at the moment. Thatch rocks himself set at the belt. The break even. Bounces in. Loma Vida able to keep it close. Count runs full 3-2. Good at bat worked by Walker Yannick. He went down looking in his first at bat against Thatch on a pitch on the outside edge that he wasn't a big fan of. See what he gets here in this full count pitch. Thatch with a shake and now rocks himself set. Yannick bends the knees from the right side. The 3-2. Breaking ball pulled down the line, just foul.
Yeah, nice workout over there at third. Robert McHugh had to jump over that foul ball that jumped over the third base bag on the inside part of it. And an emphatic foul yelled over there. You may have heard it on our headsets here.
Just making sure everybody knows what it is. And Walker Yannick digs back in. A couple of hard hit balls that have went foul in this AB. Trying to win the battle against Tanner Thatch. The payoff pitch. Soft line drive, fielded behind second base. The throw in time from Petre. Nice job moving to his right to find the baseball and fire to get Yannick for round number 2.
Yeah, I can just tell by the sound and where that one kind of ended up. Just kind of a one that jammed him a little bit there, a little indecisive on the swing, kind of a little late, just a flare on a couple of hops to Petre out there, and it'll be a mound visit now. This could be it for Thatch. There is what looks to be a righty ready to go out there in the bullpen, and they will make the call.
That'll do it for Tanner Thatch. Stays done after 2 1/3 out of the bullpen. A new arm will face Gavin Turley on the other side of the break. 12-1, Cotuit in front. It's Ben Grable taking the mound out of Northwestern. Pasadena, California native. Greeting Gavin Turley with 2 away in the top of the 8th inning.
Yeah, this pitching staff is so deep. You're up 11 runs and you're going to a guy in Grable who was 2-1, just under a 6 on the ERA, but here's where he gets you. 36 strikeouts and only 30 innings of work out of the bullpen.
Fires a fastball at 94 to start off Turley, then misses low. Got a tough release point from that right side. Long and lanky righty. Staggers the feet, overly closed. High leg kick. Fastball driven out to center. Not too deep for Bateman, who will make the play. Turley sends one on the line, but right at a glove to retire the side. Grable needs just 2 pitches out of the bullpen to get out of the top of the 8th. We head to the bottom half. Cotuit still well in front from Lowell Park. Jay Harry steps in as 5-6-7 due up to face Sam Highfill. Here in the bottom of the 8th inning of a 12-1 ball game from Lowell Park. Fastball for a called strike to start Harry. It's 0-1. Jay Harry, the lone Kettleer without an RBI to this point. Such a balanced attack tonight. Takes a fastball high and outside. Evens up the count 1-1.
I feel like you don't see that all that often where every single player has contributed and the numbers are spread all the way out through the 1 through 9.
Fouled back to the screen with a ricochet off the mask of Walker Yannick. It's a 1-2 count to Harry. Highfill put up the first 0 that we've seen in this game on the Cotuit side since the first inning, in his first inning of work in the 7th. Now facing the left-handed hitter in Harry, leaves the fastball high and outside. It evens up the count 2-2. Righty on the mound with lefty switch hitter lefty, so it'll be 3 straight left-handed bats to face him in this inning. The 2-2 breaking ball pops straight up and back out of play over the press box towards the woods that surround this park. It's kind of built out of almost a forest type look here in Cotuit. Highfill working from the windup. Open as he gets the sign. High leg kick, 2-2. Check swing. Nubber, it's a fair ball, and that's going to be a hit. And that's just how this day has gone as Kevin Bazell picks it up as it stops on the third base line. An infield single for Jay Harry. He's got a 4-hit game.
I mean, there haven't been many spots where you could look all through the order and see who hasn't beaten you today. I guess Emilian Petrie is still looking for his first hit, but my goodness, Jay Harry, he might not have an RBI, but as you mentioned, 4 hits for the traditional shortstop out of Penn State.
First pitch misses on the fastball to Cannon Peebles. He's got a 2-hit game so far.
17 hits, Zach, to the 4 of Falmouth.
The good thing for Falmouth, it still counts the same as a 1-0 ball game. Called strike on the outside edge, evens up the count 1-1. It doesn't hurt you anymore if you're the Doors because you gave up so much here, as long as you're able to bounce back.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at tiebreakers, I guess the run differential
yes,
kind of
it
thing.
Does.
That's
It does
the
there,
only thing, but like assuming there is no tiebreaker needed to that extent, you're right.
1-1 changeup catches the outside edge for a called strike. It's 1-2. Peebles reached on a fielder's choice in his last at-bat. Has yet to see Sam Highfill. That single from Harry made it 7 straight innings with a leadoff hit for Cotuit. 1-2, breaking ball fouled back out of play. And Peebles earns himself another 1-2. It was that hard-hit ground ball that he was able to beat out the double play on that fielder's choice to DeBarge, who had a little bit of trouble with the flip. Peebles, the switch hitter, batting from the left side for the first time tonight. It's that wide stance, angles the bat over the left shoulder. Back foot slider jumps out of the way of it. It's 2-2. Infield is playing straight up against Peebles, respecting his ability to go all sides. Outfield is deep against a designated hitter who fouls back a fastball from Highfill to stay alive. These two collegiate teammates at NC State. Wolfpack on Wolfpack crime here, and Peebles is a catcher for the Wolfpack, so I'm sure they're very familiar with each other.
Yeah, Peebles knows exactly how it comes in when Sam Highfill is the one throwing it.
Deep breath from Highfill, the 2-2. Fastball high up into the eyes of Peebles, and the count runs full now, 3-2. Good battle from the Kettleers once again at the box. The 3-2, swing and a miss. Highfill gets the best of his Wolfpack teammate for out number 1. That's his second strikeout of the outing. And 1 on with 1 away for Emilian Pitre.
Yeah, Peebles was saying something there to his buddy there. A couple laughs in the dugout right now after that strikeout. That's all you can do, I guess, keep it light in a game like this.
First pitch from Highfill is breaking ball that stays up. It's 1-0. Emilian Pitre looking for his first hit. He did score a run after reaching on a fielder's choice. Has a couple of RBIs as well on some groundouts. Fastball misses out. It's 2-0.
I think a lot of it has to do with just getting comfortable with the wood bat and being this your first at-bat. Sorry, first appearance this season. Just getting accustomed to it.
2-0 fastball. High and deep out to right field. Long run back for Tracy. He leaps and makes the catch. Tab Tracy brings one back. And there's 2 away.
Well, one exciting play here before this one's all said and done, given the ugly score. That's what doesn't show up on the line sheet, but you appreciate them when they happen, that the guys are still giving it their full effort despite the heavy deficit. And for a guy like Petrie, who's probably thinking to himself, you know, I can't buy one right now, going 0 for 5, walking back to the dugout, obviously more important things involved with the fact that, you know, Cotuit's got the big lead they do.
And a token of appreciation shown there from a Highfill on the mound to Tracy. First pitch is a front door slider to Waldschmidt for a called strike. Waldschmidt has reached all 4 plate appearances, 3 hits and a hit by pitch. Trying to keep that streak alive, but Highfill has different plans. Goes right back to the same pitch, but can't catch the corner this time. It's 1-1. And runner at first base is Jay Harry. He had the infield single to start the inning. He's still standing over at first, being held on by Cade Snell. Does have pretty good speed, but hasn't been getting a threatening lead at all with the score where it is. Elevated fastball cut on and missed. Highfill ahead in the count now, 1-2. Deep breath on the rubber, couple of shakes from Highfill. Gives a look over to Harry. He's still standing on the bag. Now gets the lead as Highfill comes set. Fastball outside, 2-2.
And Walker Yannick not really sure where that one missed. He held the frame there for quite a little bit.
Waldschmidt digs back in. It's also his debut. One Kentucky Wildcat having a much better time at it than his teammate Pitre. Shoots one to right field, a base hit on a fastball up in the zone. Harry cruises into second, not even going to round it. 2 aboard with 2 away, the 18th hit of the ball game for Cotuit.
Yeah, I mean, again, a team, we talked about it earlier, in the bottom 3 in the league in hits.
That won't be the case after tonight.
Definitely not. You're looking at probably about 2, maybe even 3 games worth of knocks in total picked up here, per average, right? I mean, 18 is a big number of hits, and it's tough to put up close to double digits in a ball game. You really have to be locked in doing that. So,
first pitch swinging, and that ball's crushed out to right. Tracy going back, looking for it, and he makes a catch, spinning into the wall for out number 3. A couple of spectacular defensive plays from Tab Tracy keep the score at where it is. It's 12-1 Cotuit, but Tab Tracy trying to give some highlights for the Doors. We head to the 9th on the Commodores Radio Network. Ben Grable back to the mound for the top of the 9th to face Cade Snell, called striking a fastball on the outside edge. 12 runs on 18 hits for Cotuit to this point in the ball game. Ben Grable trying to close it out. Snell, Martin, and Tracy, the 3 due up for the Doors. Fastball cut on and missed at 95 from Grable, and it's quickly 0-2. Snell, a couple of hits to his name in his Commodore debut. Stands in from the left side. The 0-2, swing and a miss. Up to 96 from Grable, and he quickly dispatches of Snell.
yeah, that was just power on power right there. I mean, here it is. You're up 11. Grable's just in for the mop-up duty and goes with 3 heaters. 96, as you mentioned, partner, getting up there. It's coming in hot from the right-handed Grable.
First pitch swinging from Martin, fouls it back out of play. Everything 94 to 96 on the heater right now. For Grable, it's 0-1. I'd be surprised if he goes with anything different here. Rocks himself set, the 0-1. Is a changeup, and it misses low. Evens up the count to Christian Martin, 1-1. Martin open stance, left side. Angles that bat over the shoulder. Fastball, foul tipped into the glove. It's 1-2. Infield shifted a couple of steps toward the pull side of Martin. 1-2. Fastball low. Martin works back even in the count. Harry playing on the edge of the grass over at third. Everybody else now has moved back into a straight up and deep. 1 away and nobody on for Martin. Tab Tracy made those plays in the field in the last inning. He's on deck. Martin fires the hips but lays off the changeup. And the count now full 3-2.
Good battle here by Martin. It's coming in real hot, but he's finding a way to just keep himself alive. Good takes, making contact on the ones that are in there.
The 3-2. Misses low, ball 4. Christian Martin battles back, works a walk, and a 1-out base runner for Falmouth in the top of the 9th.
Martin obviously a couple good swings in this ball game. The line out there that robbed Falmouth of a run back. You look back at that second inning when he had a big spot stepping in, and the sacrifice to get the Doors on the board. Their only run today, accredited to the bat off of Christian Martin.
First pitch fastball to Tab Tracy, a called strike at the knees. It's 0-1. Tracy, 347 hitter to this point entering today, and pretty similar numbers to this game. He's 1 for 3. Runner goes, 0-1, called strike, throw down. And Martin slides around that tag there, swipes the bag. The runner in scoring position with one away. Mavita came up firing quickly, and a good job by Martin. That throw pulled Harrison off the bag just a little bit, and Martin was able to get ahead of him to slide around it. The 0-2 to Tracy. Tipped into the glove for strike 3. Grable punches him out. Travis Bazzana will get one more chance as the Doors down to their final out here in the top of the ninth.
Yeah, Tab just kind of a late indecisive swing there on the outer part of the fastball there. When it comes in that hot, you got to be somewhat expecting it to at least have a chance at it.
Fastball called strike outside edge. It's 0-1 to Bazzana. 0 for 3 with a hit by pitch. Hit the ball hard in the first and in the fifth before striking out in the seventh against Tanner Thatch. Hard ground ball right side. Petre fields underhand flip to retire the side and retire the Doors here from Lowell Park. A big win for Cotuit. It's 12-1 the final. Doors going to wash this one out. Back at it tomorrow in Chatham.
Yeah, I mean, not much else to say. I mean, at first you're thinking the Doors still have a shot in this thing because of only giving up the solo shot. You give up 3 runs through 3 innings, and it's still a 3-1 game. So if you find a way for Van Treek, he settled down in those previous 2 innings after the solo shots. But it was that 4th inning that after you gave up the solo, you weren't really able to put a foot in the door after that. And it was a long, long inning there in the 4th that saw 6 runs come across for Cotuit. I mean, those guys barreled up baseballs today, Zach. There weren't a lot of opportunities that got down because of not solid contacts by these guys. The Kettleers, 1 through 9, everyone was dialed in. Even Petrie earned himself an opportunity on base despite not having a hit. He had the 4-6 fielder's choice. He reached on a throwing error from Christian Martin. At the end of the day, this was a team that was certainly dialed in. They were seeing the ball well from the very beginning. And for a team in Falmouth, you can't really hate the effort from them either. I mean, I know only 4 hits and 1 run, but they stranded base runners in every single inning, including this 9th inning right here, despite not having a run or a hit in it. And as I add this up here, partner, the Doors stranded 9 runners today. I mean, they certainly, again, you look back at the game the other night, just couldn't find a way to bring them in that Hyannis game that got walked off. And sooner rather than later, we saw the Wareham game where you did bring guys in when you were given the opportunities. They were walked, I believe, 5 times today. It's going to happen. That's how this game goes. Sometimes you're going to be on the ugly end of it here, but nonetheless, you just got to flush it. There's plenty of games in summer ball. Not the start you want if you're the Commodores, 3-7-2 now on the year. A little bit of separation, too, catching up to that 4th spot in the division, but there's still so much time in this season, and you got to learn from this one and be better tomorrow at Chatham.
Back at it from Veterans Field tomorrow. We'd like to thank you guys for joining us and sticking with us here from Lowell Park. We'll catch you at just before 7 o'clock tomorrow at Veterans Field. For everybody here at Lowell Park, Destiny Sanchez, Matt Venezia, I'm Zach Sardenik, hoping you have a blessed rest of your Friday night.